The noob begins pillaring up from the single sand block island using dirt. The materials he has brought with him in the chest boat are listed here. He places 2 full stacks of dirt until he is at level 191. He faces east and adds a marker block to denote where he will build his kill and collection chamber later. He keeps going up another 26 blocks to level 217. The noob faces west and adds 3 blocks in that direction. He adds 1 more block in the north direction before adding a single upper slab. He places the single bucket of lava to lava cast a tunnel for the hostile mobs to fall down. He makes a 5x5 upper slab spawning platform, framing the platform using the edges of the lava. The noob has miscounted, but will correct his mistake once he realizes what he has done. He adds a single trapdoor by the lava, which he will use later to come into the spawn chamber later. A lower slab border is placed around the 5x5 platform to ensure that the hostile mobs which will spawn here will not be able to escape. He adds a second lower slab border that leaves only a 1.5 block space between the lower slabs. As long as he uses lower slabs, mobs will not spawn on them. He repeats with yet another lower slab border, again leaving only a 1.5 block space between the slabs. Finally, he adds a smaller 5x5 lower slab border, again with the same spacing. In the center, he goes up 3 blocks and adds a 3x3 spawn platform. He places a lower slab on the center dirt block and then faces south when placing a trapdoor. The trapdoor is temporary, so the noob can position himself against the trapdoor to be correctly positioned over the slab before removing the trapdoor and placing a boat. He removes the lava and places a bucket of water there instead. The noob adds 2 slabs over the cobblestone, removes the slab that is in the center of the 4 cobblestone columns, and adds 2 slabs on the barriers above the fall chamber. He removes the water with his bucket and uses the bucket to place another water block in the opposite corner of the farm. The upper spawning platform is done. The noob removes the dirt pillar and returns to the middle point where he added the dirt block. Time for a quick sleep. Mobs will also not spawn on leaf blocks, so the noob uses them to make a ceiling over a platform for himself, where the mobs will drop just enough to be a one-hit kill. He opens up a space in the fall chamber. The upper part of the fall chamber will be used for hostile mobs to fall down into, and the lower half will be used to make a bubble elevator, which will bring the noob up to the middle platform from sea level. Under the leaves, he makes a space for himself as illustrated here. He adds a double chest to collect the drops of the mobs and connects a hopper to that chest. The leaves are above the chest, so the chest can be opened. He adds ladders below and above his platform. Ladders are added to enable the noob to go up to the upper spawning chamber. He adds a button so he can easily open the trapdoor and go up. Back at the middle platform, the noob adds a bucket of water to the top of the chamber, so it flows all the way to sea level. The noob is done with the middle platform and jumps off the platform into the water. He can now begin work on the lower level. First, he makes an entrance to the bubble elevator. He adds leaves around the cobblestone columns and adds 2 signs to stop the water from flowing out of the chamber. He removes the stone block under the water and replaces it with the 1 soul sand that he has collected. On the soul sand, he places the single kelp. He bone meals the kelp with the 2 stacks of bone meal until the kelp grows all the way up to the middle platform. The kelp will convert the flowing water into solid water blocks. A solid water column over a soul sand block converts it into a bubble column elevator. The noob breaks the kelp and tests the elevator. It works. The noob removes a corner of the lower platform and replaces it with lower slabs, which are waterlogged. The noob will use this as a landing platform when he jumps down from above. Next, the noob makes the future home for the villager that he will bring to the farm. He adds a composter and makes a hut out of leaves. It's time to bring the villager. He heads to the village. While traveling there, he makes a quick stop by a jungle tree and collects a single cocoa plant so he can grow more later. Cocoa can be converted to brown dye and used to make brown terracotta. The noob has collected a villager and brought it to the farm. He parks the boat in the hut before breaking it and closing in the area around the villager. Finally, the noob removes the dirt column that he used to build the farm. At this point, the farm is built, but the noob needs to bring bad omen to the farm, so he can obtain it renewably without having to go to a pillager outpost regularly. There is a nearby pillager outpost, and the noob seeks out a pillager captain. The captain is different from other pillagers in that it wears a pillager banner over its head. When killed by a player, the effect called Bad Omen is passed to the player. In 1.21, the game has been amended, so the captain drops a potion of Bad Omen instead, which the player can use as needed. Once the noob has obtained Bad Omen, he must be careful, as he will trigger a raid the moment he goes to a village occupied by villagers. He wishes to trigger a raid at the raid farm, and the villager with the composter qualifies as a village for the game. So the noob heads to the raid farm as quickly as he can. Once at the farm, the villager and the composter are interpreted by the game as a village and triggers a raid. The noob heads up to the middle platform. Hostile mobs in a raid will spawn in the upper chamber and fall down to the noob. The noob would like the drops of the Vindicators and Evokers, both of which drop emeralds when killed. Sadly, the noob does not have the sweeping edge enchantment on his sword yet, so he will cause the Evokers to summon Vexes. The Vexes could be counteracted by placing boats on the leaves around the middle platform, but the noob only wants that a captain is caught in his boat at the upper platform. The noob dies, but all is not lost. He returns to the farm. He heads to the upper chamber to confirm his hopes that a pillager captain has been captured in a boat. When this is the case, the noob no longer needs to go to a pillager outpost. Anytime he wishes to trigger a raid, he need only go to the upper chamber and kill the captain waiting for him from the last raid. Even better, 3 raids will give the noob 30 experience levels, and a raid, when completed with a sword that has the sweeping edge enchantment, will be swift. It takes seconds to complete a single raid. At the end of each raid, he only needs to go back down to the villager at the lake and come back up to start another raid. The process can be repeated over and over. It's been a good few days for the noob. Join the noob on his journey at Noob-Friendly and battle some pillagers.